Hello, welcome. I'm Renee Valentina, and this is Musing Interruptus. Musing Interruptus is a podcast for sharing thoughts and stories and enjoying idiomatic phrases. You can read along. Just click on Continue Reading in the description to open a Google Doc with the transcription of this episode. The idiomatic expressions are in italics. Try to get the meaning from the context, and then look them up to see if you were right. If you like it, subscribe, follow, and share. But more importantly, continue the conversation. Drop a comment with your answers to today's questions. I love hearing from you. The background music is by Blue Dot. The mix and master were done by Jesus Ario. My sound, Charolastra. Why did the chicken cross the road? Why does anybody cross the road? Why not stay on this side? Things can't be that bad if others are trying to cross to where you are. Stay. Let them visit and tell you the stories of what is on the other side. Besides, you're safe here from foxes. You don't want to become a box lunch for those rabid critters. These are the things our clucky friend would hear in the chicken coop every time they brought up their wonder. The chicken, who is in fact brave and curious, could not let the false and unfounded responses dictate their destiny. They could hear the other chicken's lack of awareness and fear. This chicken must. The other side of the road was waiting, and oh, what a delight to satisfy their curiosity by crossing the dusty road. There must be more than the coop. Truly, if you had been there watching this descendant of the red jungle fowls, you might ask, why not travel up and down the road? Also, have you tried going up as you have wings? The answer is not complicated. As Mr. XS sings in the song Never Tear Us Apart, we all have wings, but some of us don't know why. I think Mr. XS was talking specifically about our friend the chicken. Domesticated, exploited, made to believe they had nothing more to offer than the promise of eggs laid. The chicken didn't know much, but something would not let them peacefully accept what was tacitly accepted around the coop. Something. There's always a thing in these stories, and here it is. The fixation the chicken had about crossing the road was necessary and simply the stepping stone to other possibilities. Most beings need to build towards more lofty goals. We do not eat an apple in just one bite, unless it is those tiny rocket apples from New Zealand, which I hope one day to taste. Please send apples. I'd rather go and pick them myself. I too must cross the street or go down it, or on second thought, I should probably fly. That chicken and I have much in common. Why did the chicken cross the road? Because they needed to start somewhere. Kind of like Mr. Cocker at the supermarket. The greatest journeys start with putting one foot forward. I hope it is the best one. If you set out to explore the world or learn a new language, there is always a first step. Sometimes against the innermost demons. You know the kind. The ones whose voices make you second guess your wishes and abilities. The ones that make you stop before the project has even begun. Stabbing your will to move forward, and the phrase, "What's the point?" The death blow. If you aren't careful, it will make sense, and I bet this is resonating more and more with my unconscious mind. Or is it yours? Our chicken friend was careful with their thoughts, and although the chicken had never been exposed to transcendental meditation, they were connected with the universal truths that were louder than the clucking of the fearful chickens back at the coop. After the chicken crossed the road, other possibilities opened up, including hitchhiking with a salamander on a quest to discover the aurora borealis, and even making unlikely friends. They traveled for some time with a vegetarian wolf. The wolf wasn't really a vegetarian. They just told the chicken that because they too were happy to make an unlikely friend and had no trouble refraining from eviscerating their feathery companion. The wolf would not be so bold as to take the kitchen to their lair because their wolf pack could have other plans. Unlikely friends indeed. They taught each other things, like pecking and howling. You might think that this alters the natural order of things. However, what could be more natural than learning something new? Chicken and wolf parted ways eventually, but they kept in touch. Sometimes, and with great surrender to the joy a message notification brings them. We all know that there are things in life that cannot be hidden, and that kind of joy is one of them. They tell each other about their travels and how life has treated them and the roads they have taken. It was not easy for Wolf to make a friend and then say goodbye, feeling the geographic distance pulling at their heartstrings. Wolf told their psychoanalyst that sometimes they regretted not eating chicken because at least then they would feel they could be one. You know how it is in therapy. You're allowed to say anything and everything, and hence the therapeutic nature of that space. Chicken would never find this out. Perhaps if Chicken knew, they would have stayed away and never agreed to be traveling companions and friends. However, we can all agree that on some level, they knew and may or may not have acted on a death drive. Chicken did not believe they needed therapy, so they clucked away and continued their travels, rather carefree and anxious in anticipation of the next friend to be made. I just hope Chicken doesn't encounter Colonels or Popeyes, if you know who I mean. Thank you for listening. What does "if you love somebody, set them free" mean to you? What do you recommend for Wolf? What situation from your experiences does Chickens remind you of? Why do you think the chicken crossed the road? I'm listening.